What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I wanted to give a quick update on Tesla and their autonomous event. I just finished watching the live feed of the event. It's a couple hours long, and I just wanted to touch on some quick things, and I have a lot more content planned for later. A couple of the very interesting things that Elon talked about. So there's a couple different presenters that talked about different products, and I likely have a lot more content coming soon. Before I get into that, make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification so YouTube can notify you every time I post a new video. Alright, so Elon Musk actually predicted that in some jurisdictions in 2020 there's going to be active robotaxis on the road for the Tesla network. That would just be like Tesla using the Tesla network to operate the car, and how they actually changed their leasing structure so that at the end of a lease, the car does not go back to, you can't purchase the car after the end of the lease. And I actually could see, Tesla continuing this route. Think of it as like a rental car or a rental property, right? Where the person who makes out tends to be the person who owns the rental property. So I could see Tesla pushing more and more to the leasing strategy, meaning that they would actually lower the cost of the lease, because at the end of a 3 to 4 year lease, whatever that happens to be, the car goes back to Tesla to use in their robotaxi market. So in the meantime, excuse me, they can have somebody drive the car around, which is beneficial for Tesla, meaning they get to collect the data as the person drives it around. And two, they get to have another person, there's lots of different things. Like if another person driving a car around, they'll more than likely tell their friends about it, because it's literally so much better than ICE cars, which is internal combustion engine cars. They will show other people the FSD, which is the full self-driving, or like navigate on autopilot. Some really interesting numbers that went through this as well. But on top of that, this person would actually be paying a lease payment to the company. So that Tesla's getting somebody to pay to give them their data, right? Think about that for a second. You purchase you lease a Model 3, and you pay Tesla to give them your data so that they can take that car back and use that to make money in however long your lease is, 2 years, 4 years, 3 years, 6 years. I don't know the lease terms. So that was super interesting. I could see them actually substantially dropping the lease payment options, because it's super valuable for Tesla, and or almost reducing the amount of cars it sells to emphasize raising the price of the cars and forcing more people or directing more people to lease a vehicle, so that way they can get those back in the future, because that'll be a positive cash flowing asset once they get it back. Just like if you were to buy a shitload of rental properties in Florida 10 years ago, like you'd be in a really, really good spot now, right? Prices have gone up substantially and continue to go up in Florida. Rents have gone up. So think about that, right? Full self-driving, Elon also talked about being feature complete by the end of 2019. And he seemed like very confident about that. There was a bunch of people who actually talked about the neural network and some other things, which I will get into in later videos. But I found that super interesting. In terms of the robo-taxis, in terms of the dollar amount, current cost of ownership, this just came straight from the AAA website. They mentioned during the presentation. It's about 62 cents per mile. With the robo-taxi from Tesla, they think it would probably be about 18 cents per mile in terms of the cost. So having these robo-taxis on the road could potentially be some very, very interesting things that can happen over the next 18 months to 36 months, and I'm interested to see how that plays out. Also, there's a new battery pack coming in 2020. The current cars, I found this very interesting, are designed for about 1 million miles worth of use. The current battery packs are designed for about 300 to 500,000 miles of use. The new pack is actually supposed to be for 1 million plus miles, so that the entire car can operate up to 1 million plus miles. And having that as a completely autonomous vehicle that goes around and picks up people, it talks about how Elon also talked about how having this is, and this is, I've mentioned this in other videos or on my other channel. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Is that over time they can just delete parts or change the configuration of the vehicle, right? Because if you have been following autonomous vehicles or AV, you probably have seen some very interesting concept vehicles at auto shows or in articles online, and how the inside of the vehicle completely changed. And so he touched on that briefly, how over the next probably 2 to 3 years or so, the steering wheel will go away, and they can just take that out and put a cap on the current vehicles, the steering column essentially. Talked about redundancies for a lot of the sensors, as well as actually the power steering and the data. I forget the terminology he used, which was very, very interesting. Just a couple other notes, and I can dive more of these into detail. Currently, vehicles are operated for about 10 to 12 hours a week. I'm not sure where that data was pulled from, but that was used in the slide. So using something like a robotaxi with, say, 50% of the miles being productive, meaning 50% of the miles you do not earn anything on, the vehicle could probably generate around $30,000 per year, around $1 cost to consumers. So if you think that, say, Uber or Lyft would come in at maybe $2, $3, $3.50, $4, depending on the market you're in, for a cost per mile, that would substantially undercut Uber and Lyft, which is actually a video I should have out later tonight. So anyways, I just wanted to give a quick update on this. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. If you want to check out the video yourself, just Google that, Tesla's channel. I appreciate you guys, and don't forget to press that bell notification for all of the new videos that are about to come out about this. Peace.